Welcome to this edition of Mayor's Report Dublin. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamina. Joining me today is Mayor Mike McCorrison from the city of Dublin. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Marshall. Again, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Well, it's certainly our pleasure. And you've got a lot of stuff that you are carrying around with you. This wonderful new information. And may I just invite you to start out with the Mayor's Choice.
I will, and I'd like to spend a little extra time on this item today because it's an important direction for our city. I'd like to focus on how our city is supporting technology companies in the Tri-Valley. And I wanted to share this information with viewers that we're moving in that right direction. We're looking forward. We're looking at all these different new innovative companies, and there's an attraction to Dublin. And I wanted to point out that some of these companies, some are small, some are of size, but they're actually looking to Dublin for headquarters. And I just wanted to point out that there are a few that come to mind. One is a company called AI, which created technology for self-driving cars. Another one is Corlinx and Cadius Cloud, and these are two enterprise software companies that have found headquarters in our city. Clovidity, I have a tough time saying that off the top of my tongue. It produces technology for smart homes. And then you have another one called Vagro, which is a business platform for the wellness industry. You can see they're a diversified focus on different industries. Industries that we really need. And then, of course, we have Zeiss, and have had that for a number of years, and they have an innovation center. And as we know, it's a precision instrumentation and imaging equipment company that's very well known worldwide. I also wanted to point out that businesses are changing the way they conduct their day-to-day operations. And a lot of that has to do with what we're calling these days AI. AI has been around for a long time, but it's the way things are moving, and they're implementing. Essentially, this is a technology or methodology of driving efficiencies and returns for their company. And we are starting to focus on this AI sector and support this sector. For example, recently I visited a company called Orchestro AI, which is now located in Dublin. Small company. It was just formed a year or so ago, and it's booming. It is booming. And they're involved in logistics management, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about this company. You got some fantastic co-founders that I met, and I would remember that name. I want to also point out, it's not just that these companies are coming here for headquarters, but we're engaging in the community and the Tri-Valley as a whole. Last August, for example, last year we had a AI summit. This year we're having another AI summit, and that AI summit's on August 21st from 4 to 7 p.m. At the Patelco Credit Union corporate headquarters in Dublin. That's where it was last year too. So this is a continuation. They're coming back to us for these events. I want to also point it out that Dublin recently hosted a panel discussion on AI risk and compliance for this fast-moving industry. I know that that's becoming a big concern, not only about industry, but our government too.
So it's that far down the road.
Yeah, this is moving very, very quickly. And we need to think about how that information is being utilized. You've heard the concept of deep fake, right? And there's things that we need to be concerned about. But I also wanted to point out that there are other organizations that are hosting in Dublin from time to time AI-related events. Stanford Healthcare came here, and they had a panel discussion on how AI is being utilized in the healthcare industry. It was a very well attended event up at the golf course up here in Dublin Ranch. You know, I'm thinking about all the elements that are changing here. We talk about AI, but we also realize our environment has changed a bit and how people work. And COVID's have an impact on that. And you know, workers can have a lot more flexibility, how they work, where they work. And this kind of translates into this new environment that the workplace is absolutely changing. The technologies are changing, and Dublin wants to be there at this moment and be part of that transition. Because as I tell people, we've heard the term, if you don't innovate, you will die. If you don't do that, it applies to companies, and also, I wouldn't say die, but in cities, it's more, you just kind of fade over time. So we need to be on top of that. We need to continue to focus on emerging technologies and being part of that.
But you are uniquely situated in this Tri-Valley above the other neighbor cities. It's time.
And that is a very, very important point. We have the time and we have the mixture, the elements. And I wanted to make sure that it's not just Dublin that's creating this. This is a collaborative effort within the Tri-Valley. It's a collaborative effort with our partners, including Innovative Tri-Valley, for example, Las Positas College, who are now training these workers for those next generation jobs. We've got 2 labs here, and we've got some very collaborative neighboring cities. So I'm going to give everybody credit, and Dublin is a key part of that. So we're moving forward with the right mixture, the right location. You've got executives that are coming out here from Silicon Valley and want to build new companies. Our future is looking bright, as they say.
All types of travel, transportation include Dublin.
Yes.
Dublin is never overlooked in it, and thanks to some of the background that you guys have all set up.
And you kind of look back 150 years ago, and we were at Crossroads, and you know, we are still a perfectly positioned city at the crossroads of this technology movement.
Yes, in fact, at that time, Dublin was a stop from the Lincoln Highway, which was the first freeway
Yes.
from New York to San Francisco.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased with the direction that we're heading as a city and the focus we have on helping bring these new businesses. And I do want to point out, I almost forgot, we also have a center. It's called the Dublin Technology Center. And it's in Dublin, Village Parkway. And it's a place where some of these small businesses and entrepreneurs can get together and work in space.
Are they incubators?
It can be an incubator. I would call it, yes, it's an incubator. It's more of an environment for some of these folks to collaborate. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction in a lot of these things. And a lot of our meetings, these AI meetings, for example, they're held there. They got a beautiful place for these meetings. So I'm really happy with the direction. I just wanted to share that information, just spend a little more time today and say, Dublin's on the move.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It was Dublin's time.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for that information.
Yes.
Heat wave.
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
Well, I can say that my house does not have air conditioning, so I have to think really hard about that one. I wanted to just seriously point out that it has affected all of us. It doesn't matter who or what you are. We just had a major heat wave, and the summer's not over. We're probably going to have more as well. But the important point is to what do you do when this happens, and where can you go? And I just want to reemphasize, and I know I've mentioned this, but again, I want to emphasize this as we head into another increase in heat. And we have 4 major locations within the city. One is the Dublin Senior Center. And the interesting thing about the Senior Center is that it's just not, hey, they got a chair for you. They've got they've got computers and books, and they've got a library. They've got activity. I mean, this is a center for activity. So anybody can go there. And I just wanted to point out that, as I go through this very quickly, this list, I want to point out the times for our residents and viewers is Dublin Senior Center from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they are thinking about extending the hours a little bit into the future. Second is the Dublin Library, and that is open every day. We've extended the hours every day from 10 to 8 p.m. We have the Shannon Center that is open from 8 to 5. And of course, we have the water park, the Wave, which is open from 11 a.m. to 6. So I just wanted to again reemphasize that when the heat comes, you have a place to go. If you don't want to hang out in your un-air-conditioned house like mine. So.
And may I just add to that,
Yes.
my observation, which is, with the scope of needs that you have and the community services you offer, you never seem to overlook the seniors.
I know, and this is very, very important. That's part of what drove me into local politics is
Well, someday you'll be one.
I am one, actually. I'm not quite feeling it yet, but technically I am.
Okay. Oh, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Mayor's Report Dublin in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Mayor's Report Dublin. We are talking here with Mayor Mike McCorriston from the City of Dublin. I'm sure glad to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
We were talking a bit about PG&E and Village Parkway, etc. Could you fill us in?
I will, and I'm sure half the city at least knows that something's going on there. And I'm basically what's happening is there's some construction going on the street, and you have to kind of maneuver around and oh, there's something going on. So what is going on there is that PG&E is replacing some 12-inch diameter gas pipeline. And that pipeline, the work is going on Dublin Boulevard from San Ramon Boulevard to Village Parkway. And it's the construction is kind of difficult to maneuver now. I would say that be patient. It'll be finished by the end of the year. It's essential that this work's getting done. But I just wanted to give folks kind of an overview of what's going on, and that is, you have this construction going on, and it's starting. It has started already. They've ripped up some of the street, and the construction has started from the Village Parkway going west.
Going west?
Yes, going west. And the construction hours are usually at those times where we're not supposed to be there, from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. And that's from Sunday through Thursday, and Friday as necessary. Just a point of reference, when you have these late night council meetings, you're going home, it's like, oh, I forgot. this is happening. So yes, it's all happening at night. And again, we really expect this to be finished by the end of the year, but it's really critical
Well, this
work.
12-inch pipe to which you refer, is it because it's now not
It's
big enough, or
aged.
is it because
Aged.
it's decaying?
It's aged.
It's
yeah,
aged.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the cycle is for replacement, but anytime somebody says we have a very important gas line that needs to be replaced, you know.
So it could well be a 12-inch again.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, and I think that's probably appropriate. Yeah, so.
We recently lost a long-time, very, very wonderful member of our community, Bill Barnum. Could you tell us a bit about that?
I will. And many of us knew Bill. Many of us knew of Bill. And I lived in the city of Dublin for 30 years, and I saw his face. Didn't know exactly. I saw him on the parades, but you didn't know the extent of his involvement. Bill and his family have lived in Dublin for 56 years. He was a fixture in the community. He was a tireless volunteer. He was a key member of the Lions Club. And where everybody remembers him is he was the man, the individual who coordinated and worked, made sure our St. Patrick's Day parade happened for 36 years.
And for those 36 years, we were in contact with him to make sure that that happens, and that we're going to be televised, or we were held to pay.
I would imagine. He was very key. I also want to bring up that he was also key in bringing together the farmers market many years ago, and the concerts that are there, and bringing food and wine and making sure everybody was having a very good time. You know, it wasn't just the farmers market. It wasn't just the parade. Many events he was involved in. He was the guy that when something needed to be done, they looked at him, and he never turned it down. He was a man there are very few people like him, and people like Bill made our community what it is today. And he was quite selfless.
You went to the service.
I did go to the service.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It was well attended, and it was held in Pleasanton at a mortuary there, and it was a solemn gathering. I was able to meet the family. I was able to listen to the speakers, and every one of the many speakers that came up there said more or less the same thing. He was a man that did things for other people, and he had done that all his life. He was very, very special. So again, as far as Dublin's concerned, he was a key. He was on top of many people, and we're very sad to see him go.
I certainly agree with you. There are going to be fewer and fewer of those people around.
Yeah, I know.
On another note,
Yes.
are there any upcoming events you'd like to mention?
Yeah, as we move through the summer, I just wanted to make sure that our listeners know that there's a few things that are continuing and starting to move out. But I want to make sure that people know that the family campouts are there. That's on August 3rd and 4th. We've got the movies. We still have the movies, and we have Super Mario Brothers on July 26th. We have Spider-Man on August 2nd. And I do want to point out that this summer concert series will run through August 1st, so we're getting close.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then we've got Splatter coming up in September, so let's remember that. So.
I remember the movie so well. On the opening night of it, Janet Lockhart and her husband and my wife and I went together, and I thought, this is how do I say it? things to come. And
Yes.
by golly, they came.
They came in, and I'm just amazed at all of these venues and entertainment that we see, and it's fantastic for the city of Dublin. So,
We've still got some time. Tell us more.
well, I can tell you a little bit about July 4th if you'd like.
Okay.
That's more of a positive, I would say. And I just wanted to let you know that unexpectedly and pleasantly surprised that we didn't have that many incidents in our city. We had a number of calls, but the number of calls were down from the prior years. And yes, there were some activities that probably shouldn't happen in our city, but we had basically one arrest for illegal fireworks, and actually 3 arrests, and we had one for driving under the influence. If you take that together, that's pretty calm for a night like that. So I just wanted to point out, make sure that the viewers know that it was an eventful night. Everybody loves it. Sometimes there are folks that go out of the lines, but everything was contained and there were no serious incidents.
Very, very recently, we just learned that the city manager is going to leave. Do you have any comment there?
I do. Our city manager, Linda Smith, has decided to retire, and she will be retiring
At 46.
Well, maybe. I'm not sure about those calculations, but she has put an awful lot of time, many years into public service, and this is a good opportunity for her to make a change, and we are very grateful for her dedication and her work. She's done a fantastic job for the city.
Well, I expect that you'll be very active in her replacement.
We are, and we are currently under discussion now. We have a little time. We're working through it. We've got some thoughts about how we're going to fill that role, and we've already started that process collectively within council.
Great. It's wonderful seeing you today.
Yes, you too, Marshall. Always a pleasure to see you.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of Mayor's Report Dublin. Join us for the next episode right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Dr. Marshall Camina. Thank you for joining us.